After 1 week's break and reasonably average fight night card, we finally got another main UFC event to get stuck into, UFC 301. It's a decent card back in Brazil. After the last card in Brazil, the fans don't deserve a massive card over there anyway, in my opinion. After Glover was giving his retirement speech and half the arena was empty, yeah, they can be treated some not great fights, but in my opinion, this card is still really good. Just been seeing a lot of hate on it online and stuff, which is just happening every day with the UFC at the moment. What can you expect when they put on cards every single week? But I'm glad to get rid of these fight nights. And you might, well, not get rid of them obviously, but just have a break from a fight night and have one of these main UFC cards. You might be wondering why I haven't done a reaction on last week's UFC. And I'm not going to lie, because I didn't really watch it properly. I was having some drinks with some friends for a mate's birthday, and we had the fights on in the background, but things got a bit too messy to really be concentrating on the fights. So yeah, I tried watching the main event as much as I could. Alex Perez with a big knockout, but I've just not had time to go watch it back. So yeah, you're just gonna miss one UFC reaction video from me. And we're gonna get stuck into this UFC 301 card. In today's video, I'm just going to be going over the prelims and the main card, the early prelims. I'm going to do my news roundup video tomorrow just at the end, quick. I'm just going to give them a quick fire there. It's a decent card, to be fair, on the prelims. We got Bonfim, Jacqueline Silva, and Dakar Close, so yeah, there's some decent fights, but the prelims is really where it gets started. And I'm going to start off with Gene Silva against William Gomez. Overall, this is good matchmaking. Gene Silva, I think, has one fight in the UFC, maybe two. Yeah, just one fight in the UFC, getting a big KO over Weston Wilson. But let's be real, that guy's a walking punching bag. Not the hardest guy to knock out. And William Gomez, a lot harder of a stylistic matchup. He's a really, really high level kickboxer. Whereas Gene Silva, he's good himself, I think he's only just become a full-time martial artist, working a job before as well. So yeah, he's not had as much time to put into William Silva. Really experienced kickboxer. You can just see with the confidence in his stand-up. He's hands low, always keeping you at range with those teeps to the knee. He loves doing that front kick to the knee, the stamp as well, teeps to the body. Not the most entertaining fighter. He will keep it at more of a sparring pace, if you know what I mean. Like, you're not trying to kill each other, it seems like, but you're in the UFC, and someone who is going to try and kill you is Gene Silva, a guy who just brings intensity to the sport. And in his debut, the way he was just staring down his opponent when he was walking in, really just shows what he's looking to do. Always looking to create as much damage as he can, and in this fight he's gonna have to do the same. 12 of his 9 wins coming by KO, 2 by submission, and both his losses on decision as well. So not a guy who gets finished at all, but only one decision his whole career. So he is going to be coming for that finish. Where where William Gomez is more of a technical kickboxer. He's going to keep it on the outside. He's really just going to try and control the fight at his pace. And it's an interesting one stylistically. They're both kind of opposites in their striking approach, where I think William Gomez is gonna just have the edge in this one. He's gonna be on the outside, really, really hard to kind of hit. He's got a big height advantage, I'm pretty sure. 4 inches and a big reach advantage as well, 4 or 5 inch reach advantage. So that is going to be really used in this fight, and I think Gene Silva is really going to struggle to get in. So I'm going to go William Gomez by decision. I think that's the safest bet. Gene Silva obviously has a chance of KOing him, but I think he just can leave himself a bit too open with his looping shots. William Gomez has really good straight punches, and I think he's going to be able to keep him on the outside for pretty much the 3 rounds. I don't think he's going to be able to avoid danger pretty much the whole time. And getting into the next one, really interesting fight. Elvis Brenner, been an absolute beast since he's come to the UFC. Last time out, getting a brutal KO over against Kenyan I don't even know how to say it, Krzyzewski. And yeah, brutal KO, sort of looping left hook right behind the ear, sleeps him bad. And before that, the fight of the night, one of the comebacks of the year against Guram Kutateladze, and we know how good Guram is. I was watching that fight, just doing my research, and I cannot believe how technical Guram is. And yeah, just Elvis Brennan really managing just to dig in. He's got that sort of shoot box, jiu-jitsu sort of Muay Thai style, the same with Charles Oliveira and so many other people from that gym, where he's just going to be in your face. You can hurt him, you can drop him. Kutateladze hurt him, dropped him at the end of the first round, and then hurt him with a big knee in the second. And Elvis Brennan just in his face the whole time. Good wrestling, good jiu-jitsu. But the wrestling advantage in this one goes to Michael Orobajal. And yeah, he's a big, strong guy. Matabek Orabai. I think that's Oralabai. I don't know how the fuck you say that. But I'll call him Matabek. He's a big, strong wrestler. We saw in his debut, I think it was against Medic, who just fought this weekend, big knockout over Tim Means, managing to get a submission over him in the second round. And, you know, Medic was able to hurt him early. But yeah, the wrestling, as soon as it took place, was just like a big wet blanket on top of him. No diddy. But, you know, just managing to suffocate him from start till the submission happened. And I think that's kind of the approach he has to go to in this one, where Elvis Brenner, you know, you can't get tired in front of that guy. So Orabai is going to have to really be on it the whole time. He can't afford to gas out. And, yeah, I think that's the way Elvis Brenner's got to win this fight. He's going to be taken down. He's going to kind of be in a losing position, in my opinion, but he's going to have to come back and get the finish later on. It's just if he can do that or not. I'm going to go Orobal by decision. I think the wrestling's going to just be a little bit too much. This one for me is a pick and one of the harder fights to pick on the whole card. But Elvis Brenner, I think he's going to struggle with the wrestling. So yeah, in that one, that's a hard one. I really like Elvis Brenner. I want to see him win. And going on to the next one, Carolina Korilovich versus Jasmine Lucindo. Lucindo really impressed me so far in her UFC career. Only 22 years of age. She had a great fight with was it Algegri or something? Just really, yeah, good competitive fight with her. Both of them being so young as well. Just she's such an explosive boxer, Lucindo. Against Brogan Walker, she that's the way she's gonna fight this fight. You saw that she kind of stays on the outside and hits you with these big shots, looping shots, and really powerful, fast twitch fiber muscles. I think Karolinovich is really gonna struggle with that, and she has been on a good run. Carolina, she obviously had some bad losses. I think it's Jessica Andrade who got that brutal knockout over her, but she's on quite a big win streak now. I think it's like three in a row. So yeah, she's 38 years old. It's a tough matchup for her, and watching her last fight out, the way she kind of engages into range, falls into the clinch quite a bit. She kind of just jabs herself into boxing range, and yeah, in some sports that's effective, but in this sport it's very dangerous, and I think that is going to be the main factor in how Lucindo is going to win this fight. I think Karolinovich is going to kind of just punch away into the inside, and I think she's going to run into a lot of overhands, a lot of left hooks, and just the damage will trump it, I think. And yeah, I think Lucindo's probably going to win a decision. She could get a finish. Karolinovich, being 38 years old, been in a lot of wars, had a lot of damage done to her, so I would not be surprised if this one's a finish. I think she can cause her a lot of problems with the straight punches. That's the way you beat Lucindo. You got to keep the punches straight, because, you know, everyone knows the saying, straight punches beat looping punches. And yeah, Lucindo is definitely open for those straight 1-2s. So that is an approach to victory for Carolina, but I don't think it's going to be too effective. And I'm going to go Lucindo by decision. Going on to the next one, Jack Shaw, Jonathan Brito. Brito is just an absolute beast. I think in his debut he lost to what's his name? He lost his debut, and then he has just been on an absolute tear. Bill Aljo, I was thinking of Billy Quarantino for a sec. Yeah, lost his debut to Bill Aljo, and Bill Aljo really setting the blueprint to kind of beat him. You need to stay on the outside, avoid his big power punches and just let him kind of punch himself out and kind of just pick him apart. But everyone since then, it's been not as easy as that. Getting a brutal knockout over Andre Fili in the first 40 seconds in the next fight, subbing Lucas Alexander, and he submitted Jordan Pierce, and then beating Weston Wilson as well. So this guy's on a 4-fight win streak, all finishes. And Jack Shaw, moving up to this weight class, did look decent in his debut against Emir Khani. Struggled a little bit in the first round, but yeah, was able to get the submission in late into the 5th. And in this fight, I do not like this matchup for him, to be honest. I think he struggles against these sort of really explosive knockout artists. Jack Shaw isn't. He's not. It's not that he's not athletic, but he doesn't have that sort of fast twitch that you see a lot of people have on their punches, especially the sort of knockout artists. Brito is so athletic and explosive, great everywhere, really good takedown defense. Jack Shaw is one of the most technical fighters in this weight class. I think if he stayed at bantamweight, there's a lot of wins that he could have had. I think he beats a lot of the guys like Cheeto and a lot of the plotting fighters down there, but if he couldn't make the weight, he couldn't, and I just think he's going to struggle in this one with Brito's power. So I'm going to go a second round TKO by Brito. I think Brito's just the favourite, so yeah, it's a sad one for us British fans, but I think I'm going to have to pick against him. And going into the next one, Paul Craig versus Cal Borrello. Borrello, really solid fighter since he comes to the UFC, just really well-rounded. We saw in his last fight against Abus Magomedov, I think he could have made that fight easier for himself, made it a less entertaining fight for us and just kind of wrestled the whole time. But yeah, showing off his striking in that one as well. We've seen how good his wrestling is. He just brings all-round MMA skill to the table, and that's just what you expect to see in every fight, where Paul Craig is much more of a specialist. He's, we know how dangerous he is when he gets on the ground. So many wins where just pulled from like the grasp of defeat, where we saw with the Ankalaev one, last few seconds of the fight, wraps up the triangle. Nikita Krylov looked like he knocked him out for a second and then gets triangled, and he snapped Jamal Hill's arm and then hammer fisted him in the head and TKO'd him. And so Paul Craig really dangerous when the fight goes to the ground. But let's be real, this probably isn't a great matchup for him. Borrello, not an easy guy to take down. Paul Craig doesn't have much of a wrestling threat. If he does win this fight, it'll be by probably pulling guard and setting up a triangle or something like that. But I think Borrello is gonna be able to just keep the fight standing. I actually think he's probably gonna finish Paul Craig in the first round, maybe the second, but I'm gonna go first round TKO for Borrello. Again, another pick that is probably gonna annoy a few of my friends that I'm going against these British fighters, but I just have to be real. And not a great matchup for Paul Craig, but I wish him the best. I hope he wins. Just all around such a funny guy, and it's just a tough matchup. Michel Pereira versus Ihor Potieria. We've spoke about Potieria many times. Decent, well-rounded fighter, quite young in the sport. Just didn't get off to a great start after knocking out Shogun, had a disrespectful celebration. I can't even remember what it was, but I just remember how much that pissed off the MMA community. And I think a few of his losses after that kind of made us a little bit happier. Obviously, he got knocked out by Carlos Ulberg quite bad, and Belito as well. And I think he was meant to be fighting Shara Bullet, but now he's stepping in instead to be fighting Michel Pereira. His fight was meant to be next month, but I don't know, it's interesting to see if Pereira will stay and if this fight goes his way. But that's a big if, because Pereira been on an absolute tear, going up to middleweight now. Obviously missing weight at welterweight. I think they punished him a little bit for that because he had the fight booked in with Wonder Boy, and he went straight up to middleweight after that. And who did he beat in his debut? It was Petrosky, that's it. Petrosky, brutal knockout straight away, just a right hand down the middle. Petrosky, shown to be, he can kind of be knocked out by anything. Got knocked out by someone's hip a few weeks ago, so not the best win. But last time out against Ulanseicek, I really rate Michel Ulanseicek, and for Michel Pereira to go out there and brutalize him like that, obviously but the body shots were the main thing in that, and really brutal selection of kicks, and was able to get the submission straight after. It just absolutely broke him straight away, and I favour him in this one. I think middleweight, he's just a whole different animal now. He looks so much more powerful. The only thing that worries me, being the fight being in his home, well, I don't know if it's hometown, but home country, Brazil, is that Showman going to come out where he does a lot of stupid shit and gasses himself out? I don't think so. I think he's going to stick to his basics, and I'm gonna go second round TKO. I think he just got the speed and power advantage. It's gonna be a good fight, but a good fight for Michel Pereira. Getting on to the next one. Anthony Smith versus Victor Petrino. Anthony Smith now, he kind of does have to, if you look at the rankings, there's not much of a step out the rankings he can go. I think Petrino's number 15 now, maybe even not ranked. So, Anthony Smith really fighting down here, understandably. He's, I think in his last 9 fights, he's like 5-4 or something like that. It's not been good for him. And the wins he's been getting are like, a Devin Clark was sprinkled in there in 2020. And then he just keeps racking up wins against Ryan Spann. Obviously getting his 3rd win against Ryan Spann last weekend, and now stepping into fight again this weekend. You gotta give hats off to Anthony Smith. He's always looked at himself as a world-class fighter, and he's got balls, but not been on a good run. Victor Petrino, in my opinion, isn't actually that good. I think Anthony Smith has a big advantage on the ground. He's just a really big power puncher, Petrino is, and Anthony Smith, it's just like in his later career, just forgot that he's doing MMA, thinks he's just fighting Khalil Roundtree and Muay Thai and Rakic and all these people. It's just illegal to shoot takedowns against him, apparently, and that is going to run him into some trouble again. So I really want Anthony Smith to win this. I think there's a possibility he does get a submission win, but I think I'm going to go Victor Petrino by... I want to go knockout, but Petrino isn't the best at setting up his big shots. He kind of wings them out a lot, and Anthony Smith is probably just going to carry away and avoid a lot of the big shots. And it's a big step up in competition for Petrino, so I'm going to go decision Petrino, but that might be mental, to be honest. He might just go out and smoke Anthony Smith. And now the one I am most excited for in this card. Massive return, the King of Rio, Jose Aldo, coming back to fight Jonathan Martinez. A bit of a strange matchup in my opinion, coming back and fighting such a young, hungry contender when I think he's only coming back because this is his last fight in his contract, and they needed to get another big fight for Brazil. I think he's talked about boxing after this, so that's probably why they're trying to feed him to Jonathan Martinez, but I don't think that's going to go well for the UFC. I think Jose Aldo has a good chance here of stopping the hype train, and you just got to think about Aldo left off the loss of Dashvili, and we've seen how Dashvili has been dominating everyone recently, just picking up Cejudo and carrying him across the octagon. And I think Aldo, his retirement fight against Merab, defended all 18 takedown attempts, so just showing that he's still top level compared to a lot of these bantamweights. In the top 10, he's already beat 3 of them. I think if he does win this in spectacular fashion, I think you got to try and make him stay around, pump him into a top 5 fight, in my opinion, again, maybe a rematch against Chio or something like that. A fight with Figueiredo would be sick. A fight with Henry Cejudo would be sick. There's still a lot of good fights you can do with Jose Aldo. And that's a big if he gets past Jonathan Martinez. I think he will. I'm going to go Jose Aldo. I don't think he's going to get a finish. I think it's going to be a decision. Martinez's main weapons are his leg kicks. He's not the best boxer, and Jose Aldo, obviously, since he left MMA, had 3 boxing matches and looked really good in every single one of them. I think he's going to have a massive boxing advantage. It won't be hard for Jose Aldo to switch back into that Muay Thai style. He's been doing this shit as long as he can walk, so it's not going to be much of a change to him. And I think he's one of the best leg kick defenders we've ever seen in the sport. He's sort of even in the I think in one of his last fights against Pedro Muniz, maybe, just showing even like newer ways to block the calf kick, to avoid the calf kick, kind of stepping back, rolling with the calf kick and then exploding into combinations. So yeah, Jose Aldo, just such a high level guy, defensively so sound, and his boxing offense is going to cause Martinez a lot of problems, in my opinion. So I'm going to go Jose Aldo decision. And going into the main event now, Alexander Pantoja fighting Steve Erceg. it's another bit of a weird matchup, if we're honest. And I saw a funny thing. I think Steve Erceg made his debut 1 month after Bilal Muhammad's last fight, and he's had 3 wins, not even asked for a title shot, and he's getting one before Bilal Muhammad, which, it just shows you got to do some entertaining shit to get some big fights. And yeah, the last knockout over match now did that for him. And I'm not mad at the fight because, you look at the rankings. Kai Kara France coming off losses. He's fighting Manuel Cape, so that rules both of them out. I think he's fighting him at UFC 305 in Perth. Albazi coming off an injury, Moreno coming off losses. Panjota has already smoked Moreno, and Rodvel just countless numerous times. He's beat so many of the top 10, Panjota has already. Makayev looked terrible in his fight with Alex Perez. Alex Perez is ranked above Makayev now after getting 2 wins. 2 wins, or was it 1? I think it might be 2, it might be 1. And he's got another fight booked already. So yeah, I think this is the one that makes sense. Number 10 against the champion, which is a bit mad. But Pantoja, I don't think it's an easy matchup for him. Steve Erceg, obviously his strong points is his boxing. But being 12-1, people don't know this. I think he's had 2 knockouts and 6 submissions. So, it shows he fancies himself as a grappler as well, and he's going to need to. Yeah, and I think his grappling will hold up for a while in this fight, and he's the much cleaner boxing than Pantoja. Pantoja, really underrated power in his hands. Everyone he fights, he kind of wobbles or drops at some point. Hurt Moreno on loads of different occasions. Hurt Ravel as well. And yeah, so I think this is a tough matchup for Pantoja. I do see him getting it done. I think Steve Erceg will definitely have some real good moments. He'll be hitting him with some real good shots. But I'm going to go 4th round Alexander Pantoja. I think the championship experience and all the big high level competition fights he's been in, it's just going to show through in the end, and he's going to be able to break Steve Erceg. That's how I see it going. And I think he's going to, 4th round submission or ground and pound. It's going to be one or the either. In tomorrow's video, I'm going to be going over just the weekly news, some really, really sad news about Francis Ngannou. I'm not going to cover that too much tomorrow, but I do just want to kind of highlight how much of a legend Francis is, and our hearts go out to him, man. That's the saddest news you can ever get. And there's a few different things to talk about. There's the Canelo fight, which I think I'm going to give my prediction video on Friday, so there's should be 3 videos in the next 3 days. So yeah, just some interesting content coming out. Be interested to see how I did in my picks. Let me know how you did in yours. I hope you enjoyed.